Hey guys, I'm Adam and I'm going to give you a couple of pointers in filming with your phone. So obviously a lot of you guys are using your phone to do the recording, and you can actually get some pretty good results if you follow a few key tips. I've arranged a couple of clips from both Justin Brown and Aaron on their advice on how to do this, and I'm showing some key clips from their videos on what to do and possibly what not to do. In particular, Justin Brown has a fantastic YouTube channel that has a lot of advice on how to film with your phone, iPhone or Android phone. So I'd like to credit these two for their videos, but I'm going to overlay some pointers as the videos are going of things to look out for, and then I'll give you a couple of tips at the end.
Are you shooting videos of yourself with an iPhone or an Android device but not sure how to easily set up and configure everything from in front of the camera lens, especially if you're looking to shoot with the higher quality rear-facing camera? Well, here's 5 simple ways for you to easily configure everything and to get professional results while you're filming yourself with your iPhone or your Android device. Now, if you're shooting videos by yourself, it can be difficult to set everything up and to configure everything like your lighting, your sound, your camera settings, all from in front of the lens. Fortunately, if you are filming on an iPhone or an Android smartphone, there are several ways to make the process a whole lot easier, allowing you to easily get professional results with your smartphone whenever you're shooting solo. Okay, so let's jump straight into number 1, and number 1 is an obvious one. It's to use your front-facing camera. So obviously the downside with using the front-facing camera is that it's generally not as good quality as the rear-facing camera or the primary camera on your device. But the big plus side is it's going to be really easy for you to monitor everything, to frame your shot, make sure you actually are recording, and that everything is as you want it to be while you're recording your videos. Now, while the quality of the front-facing camera isn't as good as the rear-facing camera, the quality is still going to be good enough to get really decent results for videos for places like YouTube. But the solutions that we've got coming up for you will help you use the rear-facing camera as well. So on to number 2. Number 2 is to use a placeholder. So what I mean by this is to get everything set up and looking the way you want with something in your place, a placeholder. So it could be that if you're going to be sitting down like I am now, that you put a pillow or a bag or something on the chair, and that way you can adjust the lighting and the focus and get everything looking the way that you want. And then when you're ready to shoot, press record, move your placeholder out of the way and put yourself in that place and you'll be good to go. So that's a great way to get everything set up and in focus and get everything looking the way you want. But the biggest downside with that method is that you won't be able to monitor live while you're recording what's going on. So if something happened and the recording stopped, then there's no way for you to know that the recording has stopped until you actually get up and check on the phone yourself. But at least by using a placeholder, you're able to nail your focus and your lighting and get everything set up the way that you want. So that leads us to number 3. Number 3 is to use a mirror. Now this is where you'll set up a mirror behind your phone screen and angle it in a way that you can see and monitor your phone screen while you're standing or sitting in front of your camera. So this way you can see what's going on, you can make sure that you actually are recording, that everything is in focus and that everything is how you want it during your recording. Now there are some clip-on mirrors that you can get that are designed specifically for this purpose, or you could position any mirror behind your phone. You just got to make sure that the angle is right so that you can see it. Number 4 is to mirror your phone screen to either your computer, a laptop, a monitor or a TV so that you can see in real time what's on your phone screen. So there's actually 4 different ways that you can do this depending on the devices or the gear that you've got. So the first one is if you've got an iPhone and a Mac computer, you can plug your phone into your computer using the lightning cable. You can open up QuickTime Player and choose File, New Movie Recording. And in there, you'll be able to select your iPhone. And that'll bring up your iPhone screen on your Mac computer. The second way is for Android and Windows users. So on Windows 10, there's an app called Connect, which is built in. So if you open up the Connect app, and then make sure that you're on the same Wi-Fi network as your Android device. Then if you enable screen sharing on your Android device, you can then select your Windows computer to share your phone screen too. The third way is to use a Chromecast or an Apple TV hooked up to a TV or a computer monitor. So if you're on an iPhone, then you can use Apple TV to screen share your phone screen to your TV. And likewise, if you're on Android, then you can use a Chromecast to mirror your phone screen to the TV as well. And the fourth way, which is the most flexible and compatible way, and this is actually how I do it, is by using a piece of software called Reflector. So this will work whether you've got an iPhone or an Android device, and it will work on both Windows and Mac. So it'll work across most devices. So the principle is exactly the same. You install the software on your computer and it will let you cast or screen mirror your phone screen to the computer. Now this is really handy if you're going to be using a laptop or a desktop computer that's right next to where you're filming. Then you can easily look, glance across and make sure everything is as you want when you're recording your videos.
This video is all about how to create quality, professional looking video without any equipment besides your smartphone. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, I'm personally team iPhone, but I ain't gonna, throw no shade at no Android lovers. I know we hear this all the time, that content is king, that the quality of the video really doesn't matter that much, but it really, really does. I'm here to tell you that you can get really high quality video with these practical tips, a few setting changes, and you'll be good to go. What a lot of people don't explain is that if you do decide to invest in a high quality camera and don't know how to use it, your video quality still might be trash. All right, so let's get into the tips. The first tip is obviously to have a phone with a high quality camera. So an HD camera. The iPhones have HD cameras, the Androids have HD cameras. Just make sure that your phone has a quality camera and you can actually go into the settings and change up a little something to make sure that your HD is even better. So what I did was I went into settings and I scrolled down to camera and I changed it to shoot in 1080p at 60 frames per second. It was shooting at 30 frames per second, but I switched it to 60 frames per second just to bump up the quality a little bit. The second thing to do is to clean your lens, okay? Clean your lens off. Get all that grease, that makeup, that face lotion, all of that stuff gets caked up on our lenses, and a lot of times we forget to wipe it off. So just make sure that you wipe your lens off a little bit before you start. Get you a little lens cloth and wipe it off, wipe all that gunk off, because a clean lens is going to make a clean looking video. The third thing to do is figure out how you're going to mount your camera or prop your camera up if we're being real. Because you have no equipment, I assume you don't have a tripod. So you will have to get real creative, boo, okay? You're gonna have to get you some books or a crate or a big old stack of something and prop your phone up on that. So that way, you have a nice clear frame, and just make sure that there's not a whole lot of stuff in the background. I know I got a little bit of, don't pay down no mind, but make sure that the background is clear and you have a nice frame. A good thing to think about is the rule of thirds. So, you might not want to be like dead center in the middle, but just a little bit off to the side. It makes it look a little bit more high quality. So if you want to kind of sit off to the side and be kind of in that upper third of the camera, you're good. Step number 4, always shoot horizontally. Never, ever, okay? Don't you never do this. Shoot your video vertically. The 5th thing to do is to sit in front of some natural light. Sit in front of the window and actually pay attention to peak hours of the sun. So in the morning, I know that the sun is peaking at the back of my house, which is kind of where my office desk area is. So I personally don't like to record videos early in the morning because the sun is beaming down and it just washes out everything. So it's good to pay attention to the points of the day where the light is pretty neutral, it's kind of an overcast, or if it's not super sunny. Put your camera as close to the window as possible, which is why I wasn't sitting. Usually I sit back there because I have my ring light and the natural light coming in, but in this case I'm not using any equipment, so I'm literally right in front of the window. Another thing you can do when you're shooting with your phone in natural light is to adjust the exposure on your camera. Now this applies definitely for iPhones. I'm not sure if Androids have this feature, but if you just find that box where the video focuses and you scroll your finger up, you can change the amount of light and exposure and actually lock the exposure in so that when you move around, the exposure does not change. At one point it's like super light and then you move a centimeter over and then it gets really, really dark. You don't want that to happen. So you can lock in the exposure by just keeping your finger tapped on the box for a long time until it says AE lock. Step 6 is all about audio quality. Now, of course, you want to project your voice whenever you're doing a video, but we are not using a lavalier mic, a boom mic, any type of microphone. So we have to completely rely on the microphone of our camera. And thankfully, these new cameras have great microphones as well, so it's not really a compromise in audio, but you just want to make sure that you're really close to the camera. A lot of people want to shoot video, you know, have a nice setup and be back here. Oh shoot. Have a nice setup and they're all the way back here trying to talk to the video so you can see their whole cute little outfit, but the audio is, we're too far at this point. So make sure that you are up close and personal and we can hear you. You are within about 2 to 3 feet of the camera because, you know, you can't stress these cameras out too much. Now, it is still a phone.
Alright, and lastly to wrap up, just make sure that you are picking a room that has a lot of soft features. You want carpeted floors, possibly some heavier, thick drapes in the room, some soft furniture like couches, just to dampen some of that echo. Notice when she's talking to the camera, she's quite close to the camera and not having to overexert her voice, which reduces the echo and the amount of reverb that's happening around the room. You noticed when she stood too far away, the echo increased greatly, and that's very difficult to fix on our side when we're editing videos. And lastly, body position. Notice that these 3 people that I've chosen as a selection all have their camera and their body placed in a certain position, and this is deemed the optimal position for presenting in videos. You can achieve this by mounting your camera in line with your shoulder and making sure that the lens is just below your eye line. I find that around 60 to 80 centimeters is a good enough distance to be away from the camera. Cool, but happy shooting. Remember to make lots of practice shots first and that everything is set up correctly, because the last thing you want to do is get to the end of your video and realize that you made a mistake and that you need to record again. So do lots of setup and prep. You'll be tired after all of that, and then the recording will go quite quickly. But have fun and let us know how you get on, and you can always send me a quick clip if you'd like me to check it out and see if you're on the right track. Cheers.